folks, hope you're all doing well, and welcome to episode 17 of Recommend an Album to Review. Alright, so how this show works is I take an album, a request of yours in the comments to the video, or in this case the previous video. I go through the suggestions of yourselves for albums to review. And, you know, the criteria, if it's a band that I haven't already covered or a record I haven't already talked about, anything is fair game, as long as it's like a single album and something I can digest in basically a week. So I'll listen to the record, and then the following Thursday, 6 p.m. is when these air. I'll tell you, you know, what I think of the record, whether I like it or not. So that's how the show works, and want to thank people for sending in suggestions. I mean, this is week 17, so been, 16 weeks worth of suggestions and videos, and people are watching, so thanks so much, everybody. And yeah, man, as long as you keep watching, I'll keep doing them because these are a lot of fun. All right, so for this week, I got a record from a band that I'd never heard before, so obviously I'd never heard the album before. Did a little bit of research, just kind of find out a little bit about them. They're described in Wikipedia as a Norwegian stoner band. So that was kind of piqued my interest. And the band that I'm talking about, and I don't know if I'm saying this right, I don't know if it's pronounced Tulsa or Thulsa Doom. It's one of those, Thulsa Doom or Tulsa Doom. And I believe that is the name of some comic book character. I don't know. But that's where they got the name, apparently. And the record is called The Seats Are Soft, but the Helmet is Way Too Tight. So, this record came out in... When did this come out? 2001, I believe. Yeah. Yes, 2001. And the guys in the band are named Papa Doom, Doom Perignon, L Doom, Angelov Doom, and Fast Winston Doom. So, these guys have a sense of humor, and it really comes out in the music. And the music, I'm hearing, like Caius, and of course there's that, that Sabbath vibe. There's actually one song that I'll mention where he plays a little bit of the Warpig solo in the solo for that particular song, which I'll get to. It's funny because they're a stoner band, so I'm gonna get a little guitar geeky on you for a minute. So they're using a lot of fuzz effects on their guitars, right? And if you're not really familiar with that sound, just think of Caius and any stoner band. That's sort of like their signature sound, or like early Ozzy, Sabbath, that sort of tone, which I'm usually not a fan of, to be honest with you, but it does work in some instances. Obviously it works, early Sabbath fuzz is great, and bands like this, but as a general rule, like, it's not something that I look for when I'm trying to play something, but I don't really play that style anyways. But it has its place, and when it's used effectively, it really gives off a vibe, and the vibe is really cool, and these guys use it very effectively. The guitars have all kinds of fuzz on them, and it sounds really, really good for their stuff, their brand of stoner rock, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it's well, I'll get into all the tracks, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So the first track on here is Centerfold Blues. All right, this is a pretty good opener. It's kind of up-tempo. It's got a lot of harmonica in it. A lot of the lead stuff is done with harmonica. It's pretty good. Not there's better songs on here, but for an opener, not bad. Centerfold Blues. All right, the second track is called You Go First. Okay, so You Go First, really up-tempo, fast rocker, got some great riffs in it. And this is, I should say something about the singer. I forget which Doom he is. He's something Doom. But anyways, he's got a I mean, he can sing and he's yelling and stuff, but he's always kind of really in key. But what I really dig about his voice is he's got a certain character in his voice. You can kind of almost tell like some of the because some of the lyrics are actually if you listen if you look closely enough and you can pick them out. It's pretty funny, right? Like they don't take themselves too seriously. Um, but he's got this really I don't know just a really cool sounding voice. I just really like the character in his voice. It's like you hear him sing, and he just it sounds like a guy you want to meet. Man, the guy sounds like he's got a great sense of humor. I'd like to meet this guy. It's just one. I don't know. He's got this thing about his voice, and musically, of course, it's cool, right? So, and that's sort of the first song that you really get a feel for his singing style. But yeah, You Go First is a great up tempo rocker. All right, this one's called Clean Your Plate. It's got this bass line that kind of propels the whole song, and there's guitars riding over top of it, and I think it sounds like almost like a xylophone that's doubling the the riff, which is kind of cool. But I mean, this is one where it sort of starts off. It keeps sort of returning to the main theme, but then they change it up a bit, and but they keep it very interesting. I'm not suggesting listener fatigue at all here, but yeah, they keep it interesting, and there's a lot of angst in this one, like in the chords. I get a kind of little bit of almost like a Soundgarden thing off of this one at times. That sort of. Um, I don't like to use the word grunge because grunge is sort of all encompassing and doesn't really mean much, but it's like Soundgarden-y, kind of Soundgarden-y, but pretty cool track. Clean Your Plate's a good track. All right, the next track is Ambulance. This for me is sort of it's way too long. It's like 7 minutes long, and it just kind of plods along, and it doesn't really do a lot for me. This for me is the worst song on here. I don't know. It's just like an extended but plotting kind of doesn't really go anywhere. It just doesn't do it for me anyway. And ambulance, sorry, not ambulance, ambulance ride is the name of the track. Yeah, this is sort of, but it comes back. it's it's the low point, but the record does come back. All right, says of the next band. This is one of my favorite songs on here. Just a really up tempo rocker. It's got some nice riffs in it, some cool playing, some you know some really fuzzy guitar soloing. This is a really good track. Yeah, if this album had hits, this would probably be one of them, I guess. But yeah, very catchy tune, up tempo rock, just kills. This is a great song. Sins of the Next Man. All right, definition of what made me killer riff, and it's one of those riffs that kind of lends itself to that fuzz tone that I was saying. When fuzz tones used well, it bodes some really great results, and that is a fantastic tune. A lot of tempo rockers. I mean, other than the ambulance ride, from that point on, this record just kicks ass, and there's some every song's got just great moments of just straight up good rock and roll, and this is another example of that. So, definition of what made me. All right, then you got Birthday Pony. This one, I almost get a bit of a Clutch vibe off of this one because there's a lot of riffs that one riff kind of goes into another and goes into another, and I always like songs that have that. They take on a little bit of a audio voyage, if you will, right? And this is one of those songs. It's got some really great riffs in it. I love some of the underlying guitar parts. If you listen closely, some of the underneath stuff just really puts a sheen on everything over top of it. It just sounds really cool. This is a great track. This may be probably probably my favorite song on the whole record, Birthday Pony. Yeah, little 6 minutes, but man, there's a lot of really good stuff happening on that track. So there you go. All right, the next one, okay, I'm gonna have to block out part of this title because got to keep this PG. But it's called 21st Century. Where can I get a blankable little grungette? Question mark. So there's going back to their kind of sense of humor. Yeah, just straight up heavy rocker. Lots of fuzz. And I believe that this is the song where a part of the solo, if you listen really close, he plays a few bars of I think it's the outro of Warpix. Yeah, you'll recognize it right away. Dun, 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 that part. Which is actually, yeah, it is the outro. It's at the very end of that. But yeah, so a little tip of the hat to Sabbath on that. But another great track, 21st Century, and I won't say the rest of the title. But there you go. All right, this one is it's called "He's the Head." This one's got that da na 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 that Chuck Berry kind of thing going, but with heavy fuzz and really fast. So it almost sounds, imagine Status Quo with a lot of fuzz playing at fast tempo. It's got a lot of da na na na, but it not a bad song. Another 2 minute, really up tempo, quick rocker, but not one of the best songs on here, but not really bad, not really bad. So. And the last track, here we go. All right, the last track is called "Way Too Tight." And what a great way to end the record. A little more of an epic tune. It's got it starts off mellow with electric guitar, and it's got some heavy, weird chorusy, phasey things going on, and then it builds up and it gets heavy, and then you get the big dinosaur fuzz laden heavy guitar riffs, and it just kind of builds up, and it's just a great way to take your foot off the gas. Here's an epic, nice way to wrap up the record. So yeah, man, Tulsa King. What's the title again? The title is so freaking long. The title is "The Seats Are Soft, but the Helmet is Way Too Tight." So I'm not usually a listener of this type of music. I mean, there's exceptions. I do like Kaya's quite a bit. But not, and speaking as someone who doesn't listen to a lot of this stuff, regardless of the genre, stoner, whatever, the playing on this is great. The riffs are great. Like, I love the character of the guy singing. I love the character of his voice. It's just a great rock record. I mean, stoner genre aside, I mean, it's just a really good, heavy rock record. I mean, there's one real dud on this, but the rest of the songs are either good or great. So I want to thank the subscriber that recommended this to me. Again, the band, I don't know if it's Thulsa Doom or Tulsa Doom, but, if you want to dip your toe in the world of stoner rock, if you're not already a fan, this is a great starting point, I would say. So what would I give this record? You know what, the more I listen to it, the more I like it. So I'd have to give it a solid 4, right? Because the more I listen to it, the more I like it. It's a damn good record. So yeah, if ever curious about stoner rock and you want to listen to particularly a Norwegian stoner band, not that that matters, but check this band out. All right, thanks everybody for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe, and have a great rest of your week. Cheers.